Shlika, there's no sound. If anybody can copy me on the other side, there is no sound.
How about now? You got sound?
Can you hear me now?
We hear you loud and clear now.
All
Hallelujah.
right. We was just making sure y'all was paying attention. That's all. All right. All right. All right. So this is all the stuff I forgot to do last week. All right. The rules. Please raise your hand to ask a question. Wait to be called on before you answer, as there are hands raised in the room as well as online. Please keep your question or comment on track with the day's lesson. You will have 60 seconds to answer the question or make your statement. If you go past 60 seconds, Caleb will mute your mic. It is not personal. It's just to give the Moray enough time to finish the lesson. The lessons are recorded and must be kept within a certain amount of time. The lessons mixed with discussions to help build one another up. Please, no one individual abuse all the time. All right, so this is part 3 of what we've been talking about for the last few weeks. What are you producing this year? Heading into the new year, we want to consider what we want to produce this year. We want to be intentional in our walk this time around, all right? So we know that the result that we yield at the end of the season begins with what we planned at the top of the season, in accordance with the old saying, you reap what you sow. And these were the 5 areas we were talking about: shalom, righteousness, stronger prayer life, strong relationships, and walking in our calling. The verses that started off each category: Mark 9, righteousness, Genesis 18:19, 1 Peter 3:12, Proverbs 18:24, and today's topic, walking in our calling, Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. All right, so last 2 weeks, we spoke about the seeds of shalom, as well as building stronger relationships. When it came to shalom, some things we talked about was that we want to make sure that we're a safe place for others to vent, but not letting a moment where somebody comes to vent to you to actually turn into an argument. And we want to seek peace at all times. As far as building strong relationships, we talked about being a strong wall for someone when they find themselves in a situation with their backs against the wall. We also want to cover someone's sins, not gossiping, but encouraging the one that shares that info to go and make it right with their brother or sister or spouse, whoever they had the issue with. Also, that when someone does cover your sins or forgives you, do not continue to sin against them in the same manner over and over again, therefore abusing their forgiveness. And we also talked about getting to know each other on a deeper level. As soon as I got done with this lesson, like the next day I was on Facebook, and a friend of mine, my buddy Zeke, had posted that 90% of the people that have beef with me have never even seen my living room. And it made me think. I was going to take the slide, but the beef part I didn't want to put in there. But I mean, how many people that you consider yourself to have a relationship with have you actually ever been in their living room? Have you been to their home before? Have y'all broken bread in their home? You know, if you have not taken your friendship to that level, that might be some place that you want to try to get to during this year. All right. I've raided some people's kitchens quite a few times. You ain't got to agree. All right. So we're going to talk about walking in our calling this week. So last week we mentioned that a brother being born for adversity, that we were literally created and born to be there for each other in tough times. That is literally part of our purpose. So what other purposes might we talk about? So each of us has a specific role to play in this life. Again, we talked about this before. No problem. All right. Sometimes when people first enter the chat, their cameras come on, which has caused that to pop up. And for those of us that are already on the chat, please be mindful to keep your camera off. All right. So remember that we experience Yahuah through our interactions with each other. So we all have a different role to play. But in order to play our part correctly, we have to know and understand what that role is. If we don't know what our role is, how can we perform it to its utmost, right? All right, walking our calling. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Joshua, this is specifically translated this way, the word that's highlighted in the New Living Translation. The Levites, however, will not receive any allotments of land. Their role as priests of Yahuah is their allotment. And the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and the half tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more land, for they have already received their grant of land, which Moshe, the servant of Yahuah, gave them on the east side of the Jordan River. So we're going to look at this word roll, right? It's not often translated into English as roll, but it is something that we hear often. So this translation had it, so I want to dive into this word a little bit different, a little bit deeper. All right, so that word they translate as roll here. Nakalah. It's from the Hebrew 85157. It's something that's inherited. Or to inherit, it's a possession, right? So in other words, something that's passed down from one place to another, or one person to another. All right, that's twice now. I'm gonna have to All right. So again, the Levites, however, will not receive any allotment. Their role as priests, or their inheritance, is their allotment. So the role that Yahuah has for you to play for him is your inheritance from who? It's on the board. From him, right? It's literally passed down from him to you. It's something he gives you. I don't do trick questions. I tell y'all that every week. Oh, I forgot the other rule, that anytime I teach, she has to say something in the microphone. So just want to remind you, since you back there cutting up. All right. So generally, this is not a trick question. How does an inheritance work? Is it something that you work or labor for? It's an open question. Somebody answer that for me. How do inheritances work? Go ahead.
It's passed down to you
All right, how?
from your parents,
Uh-huh.
aunts, uncles,
Mhm.
family members.
Is this something that you have to do? Is it a skill that you learn? No, right?
No.
It's just something that's freely given from one place to the next, right? We're going to get to that. Are there conditions that are placed on the recipient in order to receive the full value of the inheritance many times? It's not in the microphone, it doesn't count.
Of course.
Of course, right? So, in order for us to get our inheritance, what might we have to make sure that we're doing? I got another hand in the back.
Being obedient and lining up with Yahuwah's word.
Correct. So if we're not doing what we're supposed to do, are we going to receive our full inheritance? Are we going to make the best of the gift that he gave us? Are we going to get the full portion? Probably not. No. All right. So again, are the conditions created by the receiver of the inheritance or the one giving it?
The one who's giving their inheritance.
The one who's giving it, right? So we can't just do it our way.
No.
All right. Are there any questions about where to find the standards that we're supposed to hold up to? Everybody knows where to look, right? To figure out what we're supposed to be doing. Correct? That is a rhetorical question. So, all right. So think about that in your walk as you're going into this new year, that this year is going to be purposeful and intentional. Are you, to the best of your ability, that's the key word, to the best of your ability, living up to the standard? Or do we have to do some searching and realize that we got to do better this cycle than we did last time, and the time before that, and the time before that, right? Now, that's not to throw dirt on anybody. Is there anybody who can't do better this year than they did last year? Yeah.
Most definitely. Every year there's a new experience, and that's a chance to get it right each year.
Right. I have a personal belief, and this is just my personal belief, that once you reach the pinnacle, the best you can get, you're out of here. That's my personal belief. All right? Again, I say that again. That's my personal belief. Don't nobody start spreading that, right? All right. So you're always in the position where you should be striving to do better than you were before. All right? But again, you're not going to maximize the gift, the inheritance that he has for you in your own manner. You got to be following what he wants you to do. This is something else I want us to consider, because again, this whole message is about being intentional going into this next cycle. Many inheritance often go unclaimed. Usually because the person who is due to receive the inheritance has no clue that something is set aside for them. So do you personally know what your inheritance is from Yahuah? What is your role? Can everyone in here honestly say they know what their role is? Can everybody hearing my voice honestly say they know for sure what their role is? Now remember, but everybody's role is different, right? There's some generic things that we all should be doing, but he's given each of us a specific inheritance. I have 5 children. They will not all inherit the same thing. Sorry, guys. Right? Now, that's not to say that they're all not going to receive a significant minimum, right? But each of them is going to have something a little different. It's significant, like, I pay my premiums every month. We good. That's all right. And that is all right. That's why there's 5 of them. They only got to deal with me 3 months at a time and just rotate me to the next one. It's okay. And let me pick my nurse. It's all right. All right. So guys, basically, do you know your role, right? So again, be intentional. I want each of us to seek your inheritance. Ask him to reveal to you what your role is and show you the steps you need in order to take in order to receive it, right? Because again, if you're not in the right place, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, you're not going to get the full inheritance. We have a question in the room.
So basically, if they're seeking inheritance, they're asking Yah to show them, how would Yah show them? Would he be using others to show you that? Or are you waiting for him to literally come to you, come off his throne and have a personal conversation with you?
Hey, but again, that's what I've been saying the last few times that I've got a chance to come up here, as well as the top of the lesson, that it's through each other, right? He's going to use a person. Now, occasionally you may get a direct revelation through a dream, or you may hear his voice. But for the most part, he's going to use somebody, which means you have to do what? Microphone.
You have to listen, pay attention, and
You have to listen, right? Now, remember what I warned about the other time I was before you guys. Beware of confirmation bias. If you think your role is one thing, but you have several witnesses telling you it's something else, they can't all be wrong. Just because it didn't line up with what you thought the answer was going to be. All right? So be able to listen when he reveals it to you and shows it to you through different people. All right? Oh, now, once I pass my children their inheritance, I've given them the rules on what they have to do to claim it, right? You got to have a career. You got to be responsible, right? But once they receive the check and everything clears and they get what they're going to get, it's now theirs. It's their possession. I cannot control what they do with it, right? So same thing, once he tells you what your role is, what your inheritance is, it belongs to you now. It is a gift freely given, but once he gives it, it's yours. Which means what? It's on the board. I'm gonna let you off the hook. Just read that sentence for me in the microphone. Just read that for me. Just go ahead.
Somebody took it away.
It's all right. All right. So once you have it and it's yours, what you got to do with it?
You are responsible for guarding it, nourishing it.
Thank you. See, now I don't have to call you later in the lesson. See, I'll let you off the hook. All right. Don't worry, I'm gonna get her again. She just don't know it yet. All right. So again, it's yours. You're responsible for guarding it and nourishing it. Nourishing it means what? You want it to stay the same as when you got it?
you want to feed it. You want to educate it. You want it to flourish. You want it to grow.
Oh, feed it, educate it. Okay, all right. Let it grow. All right. All right. So, just like she said, it is your responsibility, right? And don't just sit on what you're given. Work to increase it. All right. All right. So, let's look at the next word. Numbers 8:19. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and his sons from among the people of Israel to do the service for the people of Israel at the tent of meeting and to make atonement for the people of Israel, that there may be no plague among the people of Israel when the people of Israel come near the sanctuary. All right. It's a lot of people of Israel's in there, right? I thought about that as I was reading it. All right. But the word we're going to look at here is gift. And we see it twice. We see it in Proverbs and again in Numbers. All right. So in Proverbs, that word is matan. It's literally a gift or a reward, something that is given to you, right? Like a present. The next one is natan. So ma and na, similar but not the same, right? It's to give, to apply, to ascribe, or to assign, right? So I've assigned them to Aaron and to his sons. I've given it as a present. So your calling, your purpose, or your assignment is a gift to others. It's a blessing or an increase to be used for his people, right? So this isn't about us. So the gifts that we have are not for us to bask in and make about ourselves. It's a gift given to us for other people, right? The gift was assigned to you, right? But don't boast nor be vain in it. What happens when you do that? If you get boastful and vain about the gift you have?
He'll let you fall on your face.
He will let you fall on your face. What else? Doesn't count if it's not the mic.
He's going to take it away.
He can take it away. I heard something in the back. Go ahead and say the mic. All right. Oftentimes, when we make it about ourselves, we take it for granted. We're not looking at the gift as being purposeful for somebody else. We've made it all about us, right? Yes, go ahead.
And that's when you think it's a burden.
You can also look at it as a burden, right?
And you say, I got to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Why I got to go and deal with these people? Why I got...
Hey, keep it real. Go ahead. You're right. Keep going.
I mean, that's what, that's what said Jonah, right?
Yep.
I don't want to go to Nineveh.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because he thought it was about him. Your gift is not about you. Not one single solitary second is that gift about you. All right. So you don't take it for granted, but you do value it. Why? Because you want to consider who gave it to you, right? How many of you received a gift that a loved one gave you? It means a little bit more than any other gift you've been given. Show of hands. Nobody has not one special gift that came from somebody special? All right. Okay. So the second question there. How was that gift treated or valued or protected or enjoyed differently from other gifts? And that's an open question. So think about that gift that you got that means a little bit more. How do you treat it differently? In what ways? In the back.
I was actually just looking at this a few days ago. My grandmother gave me 2 leather jackets she bought like in the 80s. She gave it to me like in the 90s when they had come back in style.
Back in the salt and pepper tour.
I wore it for a little bit, and then the jackets started kind of looking a little bit like out of style. They still look good. So I just put them in my closet, and I keep them in the downstairs closet where it's a good temperature, and they still look really good. And I was just looking at it the other day thinking, my grandmother gave me these back in the 90s, and she passed away. I remember her wearing them. So.
Right. Okay, so that jacket, even if it, is it safe to say, even if they came back in style again, you would be hesitant to take it out and wear it again, right? For those that couldn't hear, she said she would not wear it again. All right. Somebody else answer that question for me. Think about a gift that you have and how you treat it differently. All right, everybody said they had this special gift, so I hope the person that gave it to you ain't in the room with you, because you ain't saying nothing about the gift no more.
I got a book that was passed to my father from his father, and now it's given to me. So it's an heirloom now, and it has a lot of notes that my grandfather wrote in that book. It's very valuable to me now. So, and I keep it separate from the other books, and I don't let the children play with it. I don't put it out, but it will be passed on. Yeah. If I should, it'd be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Children don't value anything. But when I tell you, hey, this is a heirloom passed down from your grandfather, your great-grandfather to you, me. So
think about what you literally just said. Children don't value stuff the same way you do, right?
No.
So do we want to be childlike with our gift?
Absolutely not.
He said approach him like childlike, but when he gives you something, you don't want to be childish with it, right?
No.
You don't want to take it for granted. You don't want to abuse it, right? You want to be mindful of it. I got a hand in the back. Them come to you, Aki.
I have a gift. It has no value, but it was handmade by my mother, probably about 40 years ago. And this gift, I have it in a special box, and I keep it up high so nobody, and it has like bubble wrap around it because it's porcelain. You know, she, like I said, she made it herself. And so I've never let my children touch it. I barely touch it. I open it up and look at it every once in a while. And my mother has passed away now, but I did that from the very beginning when she first gave it to me. So.
Mm-hmm. So think about that care. I'm just going to use you and land back off what you just said, but it applies to everybody. So the same care that you give to a physical gift, you have to give his gift that he gave to you the exact same type of treatment. It has to mean even more to you than that one special gift. All right. Go ahead, Aki. In the room. Lamad's going.
So another way of is somewhat the opposite, meaning that, you know, if you have, let's just say, jewelry, they like to polish it, show it off. You know, they're happy that it's on them. It reminds them of things, and that's the same principle as this. If he gives you a gift, if he gives you a gift of singing or something, you want to do the same thing. You want to, you know, sometimes they want you sing and polish your throat up, if you will. You know, you want to do certain things with it. But I think that the other way of it, obviously, is, you know, using it more, because you can have a bunch of jewelry in your box, but this one you always use out of all the other jewelry, if you will, for an example.
Yep. Think about it. Again, continue what you just said there. So you have the gift, and I can't sing. If I could sing like y'all, I would never talk. I would just sing everything. I'd be at the drive-thru singing. Like anything I wanted, I'd be singing. Right? just. Now, he gave you this gift, right? But he also talked about our special gifts being an heirloom. We don't bring it out for just anybody, right? So if he gave you the gift to sing, you know, you may sing to your partner, to your spouse, but you primarily to be singing to worship him, right? You're not singing just to show off. You're not singing so people can compliment you on how well you sing. Right? You're using the gift for him. So be mindful of that. Good example, Lucky. Anybody online have something to say? Maury Dawu, what you got for me?
Yes, this is Emma.
Oh, go ahead, Emma.
Wouldn't you, if you have the gift that he has given you, wouldn't you want to cultivate it, make it special, make sure that you're doing it right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to learn it, get better at it. You get better at it by using it, but you want to be careful in the space and the arenas with which you use it. Dawu, go ahead.
Yeah, what you're saying is true, because sometimes we can have gifts, and we can think it's going to be around forever, and that gift can be lost, and you know, because you take it for granted, and you know, like that could be a hurt, you know, too, you know, when you don't really respect, you know, that special thing, and you know, like yeah, that's what I wanted to say about gifts.
Hello, yeah, total rubber. All right, so basically, like we've all just said, you want to treasure your assignment. You want to show its value when you walk in the assignment that he gives you. We should see the favor or the anointing of Yahuah when you are on task. We should know that he or she's operating in their gift, because it's just different. Anybody else could try to do the same thing, and it's just not the same because they don't have the gift. Now, you can also tell that when someone is performing their role, but they're just going through the motions. They're really not. They're operating in their role and their task, but they're not operating in their gift. They're not operating in their inheritance. And you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. All right, so Romans 12:4. For as in one body we have many members, And the members do not all have the same function. So we're talking about walking in our purpose, walking in our function. G4234, praxis. Means to practice in office or work, right? So, and we also have this other note. Vine's Expository Dictionary says this denotes doing a transaction, a deed, the action of which is looked upon as incomplete and in progress. So it's a work, but you're in progress of doing it. So we each have a different function. The function he has assigned for someone else is not the function he has for you, right? He's not going to have 12 people doing the same function in a group, right? It'll be redundant. It's not productive. So when you're thinking about that, you make sure that you're not envious of another's function. You can admire someone's function, but do not covet it, right? Especially to the point where you downplay the function that you have been given. You never want to be so focused on the gift, that talent, or role that somebody else has that it causes you to feel bad about yours, right? Because again, you're not valuing it, you're not treasuring it, you're not going to operate in it, right? But remember, it was given to you, it was inheritance, right? So when they receive their inheritances, it's nothing they did to earn it other than to be born from me. So I'm the one that gave it to them, right? So you can't be boastful in it, and you can't feel bad about the one that you were given. You had no role in it. All right, so remember, consider that notion that says the act is still in progress. We want to strive to grow in our function or role as life takes us through what it does. We don't ever want to give up on our gift. The gift is constantly in progress and in use in various situations, right? The level that you had it at before, the way you operate, is not always going to be the same through life's trials, tribulations, and things of that nature. Go ahead, Yoganan.
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Toda, toda. Yeah, I want to go back to the statement that you made earlier in regards to do not be envious of another's function as far as their gift. I believe that's very important too, that we walk humbly with what Father has given us, because we really don't know what it took for that individual to maintain their gift, because of certain trials and tribulations. You know, the enemy will also try to get us off track so we can't, operate in our gift to be a barakah to others. So, it takes me back to the mother that brought the two sons to Yahuah and said, they both desire to, to sit with you on your right hand and so forth. And then Yahuah said, well, can you drink of the same cup that I'm drinking from? Now we knew what he had to do. He was given an awesome task because of the gift that was laid upon him. So it's very
All right, Todaki, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay. All right, you just came across your time. It's no worries. All right. One other thing I want to remind us of, again, about this gift being in process, right? It's in progress. It's never one and done. You don't want to get too comfortable in your function or in your role, the place he's put you in, right? He gave you that gift for whose purpose? For his purpose, right? Remember, none of this is ever about us. When he calls you to move to a new place, move. Just move. You can get comfortable, man. I've been up here doing this every 3 months for quite some time now. I can stick doing this. And that's a whole other conversation. That's at the end. Don't be skipping my lesson, all right? That's at the end. All right, but if I get comfortable doing this, man, every 3 months, that kind of works for me. He says, I want you to do it every other month. Ooh, wait. Now it's a different story, right? So again, you can't get comfortable doing what you've been doing. He's going to stretch you and grow you, right? All right. So we're coming towards the end, though. Romans 11:29. So the gifts and the calling of Yahuah are irrevocable. First Colossians 1:26. For consider your calling, brothers. Not many of you were wise according to worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. Yet they were still called, right? Okay. Just the brothers, short. Klesis, right? It's an invitation. It's a calling. You've been invited to have this gift. So, of the billions of people that exist, you were given an invitation to be used by Yahuah. He chose you. He offered you the opportunity to do so. And again, he didn't choose you because you were wise or powerful or born into royalty. That's not why he chose you, right? So you weren't wise, yet he chose you to teach his people anyway. So if he gave you the function of teaching, where did the wisdom come from? Because you didn't have it, but he chose it, invited you to have it anyway. So where did the wisdom come from? So again,
Sienna has her hand up.
Oh, I ain't got my slipper on today. So answer my question, Caleb. See, you made me do it. You made me do it. So if he gives you a function to teach, but he didn't choose you because you were wise, where did the wisdom to teach come from?
It's coming from him.
It's coming from him. That wasn't so hard, was it? Does Sienna still have a hand up? Okay. Caleb, answer this one as well. Caleb, it's the same answer. You can do it. If you have physical strength or talents working with your hands, but he didn't choose you because you were powerful or had strength, where did this talent come from?
It came from him.
It came from him. All right. So, does everyone who receives an invitation accept the invite?
Got things to do.
We all agree, right? Go ahead.
Not everybody, because they'll come up with some excuse why they can't do it or why they don't.
Right. So,
yeah, I'll pray on it. Y'all hadn't spoken to me yet.
Right. So, the calling is irrevocable, right? Great. He made the call on purpose and didn't change his mind. So, he gave you the invite. He's not taking it back. You're still invited, but you choose not to answer. So some of us might need to go double check our mailboxes and see if there's an invitation that we missed. So that's one thing I want you to be intentional about. Did he invite you to perform a role or a function, and you either ignored it or didn't realize you had gotten it? You got so busy with junk mail and the trials of life and things of that nature that you got an invite sitting in your mailbox that you don't even know about. We have a hand in the front.
Let me start my minute.
You can have a minute in 2 seconds.
Okay, so it's almost like that parable Yahushua gave where he invited everyone to the dinner and they wouldn't come. So he said, okay, well, since you all don't want to come, go invite other people and bring them in. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like if you turn that invitation down, you might lose your spot.
You might lose your spot. You might lose your spot. So, something else to consider. It's not too late to still seek out your calling. So, but you got to take that action today. If you take too long to respond to the invite, like Caleb just said, someone else will be invited in your place. Say again? More me, Dad. Go ahead.
Well, here's a point to consider. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the invitation might not be the invitation you wanted. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you set that invitation to the side and expecting another invitation to come.
True, absolutely. We want stuff to look the way we want it to look, sound the way we want it to sound, come from the person we want it to come from, right? It's not how it works.
You got to remember what I said. Don't look for the answer the way you want it to be. That's not it.
If you're praying for something and you want a certain answer, you're not going to get it. It's going to be the answer the way the Father wants to answer the question. Same thing when it comes to this invite or what your gift is, because a lot of you are supposed to have been praying for that gift, right? For him to give it to you. But some of us want it the way we want it, and that's not the intention. Just like he's been saying, we're not supposed to be doing this for ourselves, even if we're praying for it. You're still not doing this for yourself. It's still going to be about what the Father wants, and you just need to adhere to it. So if we start thinking in that way instead of thinking, well, however I ask for is the way I'm supposed to get, no, it's not going to happen that way. Maybe you will see it in your inbox.
I'm going to hand it back. Todaki.
All this is kind of hitting home for me because I actually went through this over a 2-year period where I knew that there was something I needed to do. And even when I took the time out to do it, I still was looking at myself and going through things in my own mind. And when I decided to do it, I realized, well, I decided because I'm like, I just can't go through my entire life realizing that I was supposed to do this thing. And I had a few people to come and say it. And that's what I need to do. So I had to start praying for the wisdom because I'm like, I don't know that much, so it took time. And I started realizing that things were making sense. I couldn't even tell you why they were making sense to me. They just were making sense. So I did it. And then after completed, I'm like, okay, what do I do next? And I'm having different people telling me that I needed to do some things do this on my own to get this thing done. And this week I just said, okay, let me stop and do this myself. And I started realizing it wasn't okay.
Caleb will mute everybody. Man, I thought I was rough. All right. Hey, Caleb, drink some tea real quick. Drink some tea real quick. So, like we mentioned, out of the billions of people out there, he gave you an invite, right? The numbers are not in our favor. None of us should get bold. There's a billion people in the world. Nobody is irreplaceable. All right? And Caleb's going to give us a demonstration of that. Grab the mic. Go ahead and read it since you talked about it.
Okay, well, cool. Wow, okay. That's real convenient. And again, Yahushua spoke to them in parables, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son and sent his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they would not come. Then he said to his servants, the wedding feast is ready, but those invited were not worthy. Go therefore to the main roads and invite to the wedding feast as many as you find. And those servants went out into the roads and gathered all whom they found, both bad and good. So the wedding hall was filled with guests.
All right. So since the people invited didn't come, it wasn't no more wedding feast.
Oh, no, that's not what happened at all.
Oh, okay. It's going to go down whether you choose to participate or not, right? Because remember, it's not about us, right? So if the goal is to Barak Yasharoon and he sends me to deliver the blessing and I choose not to, he's not going to cause his beloved Yasharoon to miss out because I didn't want to act right. Somebody else is going to replace me and he's still going to get the barakah that the Most High has assigned for him. That's just the way it works, right? Now, am I going to get a free pass because I didn't do what I was supposed to? Oh, low. It's going to be rough. It is going to be rough. Now, let's put that in two different contexts, though. There's me purposefully choosing not to because I knew what the Most High was asking me to do, and I chose not to. That's one way to do it. But we're just not in tune. We're not paying attention. We're busy. We're not listening for his voice, so we didn't hear it when he spoke to us. Both situations are not ideal and not told, but one's a little worse than the other, right? Which means you want to do what? You want to put yourself in a position where you're hearing from him. Put yourself in a position, make time for him, have a relationship with him. So when he calls you to go, you hear the call because you know in your heart that the moment he calls me, I'm going to do it. But you have to be in a position to hear it. Right? But the feast is going to go on without you. All right, so a few things to consider. So, when Yahuah needs your gift, role, or function in another place, make the transition easy on yourself and just go. Just go. You don't want to have to go through that whole experience. Because at the end of the day, he's going to get you where he wants you to get you. He's going to use you. And you can go kicking and screaming, or you can do these things the easy way, right? All right, so again, like we mentioned before, it's okay to admire someone else's gifts and talents, but never feel that yours aren't worthy enough, right? Because if you find yourself in that place, worthy enough to whose standard? It's an open question. This says it's not worthy enough based on whose standard? Say in the microphone up.
Your own standard.
Based on your own standard, right? This is when we feel insecure and inadequate, right? Because we're holding ourselves to our own standard. Man, I sure can't do that. All I can do for the Most High is this. But you can only do this because he gave you the power to do so. It's from him. And he's the best giver of gifts that we have. So if he chose you to give you this thing, give him all you got. Give it all you got, right? Right. And be thankful for it. Say again. Maury Dawood, what you got?
I just want to say, like, a lot of times we're hesitant to make the move because of criticism. Our brothers and sisters right alongside of us, we call ourselves operating in our gift. And, sometimes they don't understand the gift or whatever, for whatever reason, and they have criticism. And that kind of like holds people back sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But again, you made it about yourself. That criticism, right? I'm not worried about what man says about me. Not worried about it. Again, everybody's not a jerk like me. It's okay. I understand. In the back.
Is it possible that the Father can give you multiple gifts?
Absolutely.
And if so, which one would you know to focus on?
All of them? Everyone he gives you? Now remember, we went over several different roles, 7 different words today, right? You have gifts, you have roles, you have functions, you have assignments, right? One assignment that he gives you may require multiple gifts to get the assignment done. The function that he has for you may only require this particular gift you have. And when you're completed with that one, he may send you somewhere else for a different function to use a different gift that you have. But whatever gift he gives you, whatever talent he gives you, whatever he plants inside you, is your job to nurture it. And you don't choose one over the other.
Yeah, one gift doesn't void out another. You know what I mean? Or you don't have to choose which one. It's going to come to you for what that gift is used for. You see what I mean? So you don't have to worry about, which one should I use here? You see what I mean? You're going to know that. Now, learning the gift is the key, because sometimes you may think it's the same, or you may think that you got to choose. That's just us thinking, from our head. But when that time comes, it's a gift from who? From Yah, but we say it's the Ruach that gave it to you. So the Ruach is going to lead and guide you in which gift you need to use anyway.
Okay. All right. Another thing to consider. Do not seek the spotlight. That is not the purpose of your gift. Now, he may bring you to a certain level of recognition, but that's not the goal, right? You always want to have your mind on the kingdom first. You do not, I always say, I don't trust mores or leaders of assemblies who set out for the task. Most of the ones I know that are best at it had no interest at all in doing it. But that's the rule. That's the gift they were given. That's the assignment they were given. So they followed the Most High. But that's not what they were seeking. And usually because of that humbleness is why they're chosen. But if you're seeking the spotlight in your gift, I want to be the biggest and the baddest and brightest. It's not the spot to be in, because you're making it about yourself. Making it about yourself. All right. Again, some of us, as I mentioned earlier, have functions, gifts, or roles that he wants us to fill, but we aren't aware of them, right? So again, be purposeful in your actions. Make today the day that you seek Yahuah to find out what your purpose is. And it may not be a role that even has a title within the assembly. And that's okay, right? Because the world needs your gifts and talents. Not just these people in the room, not just a few people online, right? You may have a gift or a talent that he wants you to use in a whole different place, right? Everybody's gift and talent is not the same. So some of us have been given the gift, the talent, the assignment to hand out flyers on the highways and the byways, right? I will not be that person. It's not me. If I catch you in the mall or walking in the parking lot, I'm just walking right past you. It ain't me. That's not the gift he gave me, right? That's not what he put me to do, right? But remember, our Akeem, that is their goal, that is their assignment, we'll only know if they tell us. They're not doing it to be seen. They're doing it for the benefit of the person that received that flyer, that bookmarker, right? Now, let's go back and consider Yonah. I'm going to do some more self-snitching. So, this goes back to what these two were making fun of earlier. I decided to accept the assignment of being a Sharat 2 Sukkot ago. It was not something I desired to do at all. It was my Yonah moment. It wasn't no fish involved, but it was nothing I had any interest in doing. But eventually, I sober-mindedly accepted the assignment to the delight of one particular member of this assembly. Matter of fact, show them the dance you did. Can you still do dance? You done lost all that weight. Do the dance. Oh, he was up kicking his heels up in there. It was ridiculous. Anyway, now, I say all that again to say that even doing that, I couldn't get comfortable, right? Because when I was first asked to be a Sharat, I had no idea what was going to lead me to standing here. But when they asked me to take on that assignment, look where I am, right? That's what I did. Also, I say that again, and this is, again, about the Most High, that your gift will make room for you, right? So most of you know that I was a classroom teacher. And then I went to administration. So I wasn't you. I have the gift of teaching. You can put me in any classroom anywhere in America, and I will hold it down. But I wasn't getting to use that gift every day. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, guess it just wasn't meant to be. I did my task, and now look what I got to do every 3 months. I still got to use the gift. So your gift's going to make room for you, and if he gives you the gift, he's going to get it out of you. I thought I was just going to go sit in the office and make a little extra money, and he said, nope, you still got to use that gift every day. In fact, one of my teachers was struggling to get this kid to do something, and I was just doing my usual rounds, and I went in there, talked to the kid, finished the assignment in 10 minutes. He's like, Mr. Mike, get out of my room. Because again, the Most High gave me that gift. It has nothing to do with me at all. But it's a gift that he gave me, and he's going to use the gift that he gives you as long as you nurture it, right? If I hadn't spent all that time in the classroom and I was driving a truck, the gift wouldn't have been nurtured, right? So that's just the way that goes. He said the Morim and the others. The Morim and others. That was his prayer. Canaan. Don't start. Don't start. Okay, now we're going to wrap this up, but I am going to need some class participation. All right. So this is what I want us to be mindful of. Be ready to battle. And when you begin to walk in your purpose, life is likely to get hectic. And trust me on this. Understand why it's getting hectic and be prepared to endure. So I told a little bit of my story for the last 30 seconds. I want one little more ream in the room to share their story of the hecticness they had to go through when they decided that they were going to take on that challenge. It could be anybody.
No. It's fine.
Canaan, then Lamad.
If you all don't remember the story of me getting up here, let me give you the condensed version. Before I got up here, which was what, 2018? I was supposed to be up here 2015, 2016. What ended up happening is that something happened with the moving, the apartment we were supposed to come to. And in a fit of panic, I use it as an excuse for us not to come. Now, when you get an invite like that from the Father and you do not accept it, something.
Keep going, Aki.
I said the condensed version, okay? Some things are going to happen. So what ended up happening is that he put me back. And he put me back in such a way that no longer was I at the head of the table, I was at the back. So once I understood that and had to learn that, when you get your gift, you have to actually work in it no matter what. Once I started to realize that, then we were able to get up here, and we all know how at that point. But the thing is, he takes stuff away from you in order to prove a point and to give you a lesson. And just like with all the other topics that we were talking about, you have to be willing to not only accept that punishment, but to work through it so you can get back to where he wants you to be.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I'm just going to add on to that. So again, that goes back to understanding why you're going through this hecticness, right? Once you figure out why, one, it should be the impetus for you to move in the direction he wants you to, and you can better handle and better endure when you understand why, right? Again, we don't want to make it about us, right? So you decide to step into this role, however great or small it is, but you decided that this is the invitation you received and you're going to answer it. And then things start getting hectic. And then oftentimes, the attacks that you go under, they're not attacking you. They're attacking that ruach that's in you. It's a spiritual battle. And if you don't attack it that way and you don't look at it that way, then you won't properly endure through it. Lamar had a hand up first, and then Dawood. Go ahead, Lamar.
What was the question?
So when you decided that you were going to walk in your purpose, explain to us how life got hectic for you.
All right. So, and it has to be within a 60-second window.
Low.
Oh, okay. Let me take y'all way back. Let me share a little bit of something with you guys. All right. So I would say what some things I guess I point out is that you start to you have to start taking on other people's problems, situations. You have to now have an answer. Meaning you don't have to have, maybe if you don't know the answer at that moment, it causes you to go research. It causes you to, stop what you're doing to give that person an answer because you care. So what it allowed me to understand is, even though I care about people, it was like, but also I got time, and so I find myself neglecting my time or things I need to do for the people. But I guess I'll say one of the main things is really listening to other situations, issues that people may be going through, or problems or trials or tests that they're going through, and trying to navigate with them through it in hopes that, Yah gets the praise. So I wouldn't say it's for the person, since we love the calling per se, we didn't ask for it per se, but when we're in it, we take it serious from that perspective. So I would say just listening to a lot of things, because some people are going through some things that are serious, and some people are going through things because they just not listening. They're just hard-headed, and you got to tell it to them over and over and over again. And then you're trying to be patient with them, and others, they do listen, but the point is, I guess, is being able to take on other situations, I guess, without even it affecting you, is one of the other things.
Toda. More Dawood. I'm learning.
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, Aki.
Your lesson today is like speaking to my life. I've experienced everything that you just talked about in this lesson today. I come out of the church. I was ministering the church full time, and then I came into the truth. Boom, the truth hit me. I gravitated to it. I was like, oh yes, this is what I've been looking for all my life. And I'll never forget the mentor I was with at the time told me, he said, look, when you take this on, you're going to lose everything. And at that moment, I was still green. I was like, oh, man, I'm not worried about that. The Most High had me all. He got me here. He's going to keep me here. And then I started losing stuff. I was like, what the heck? But the blessing of being on, going through that, and being on this journey and this walk of truth, making a transition from one belief system to this, the blessing was the people that I got to meet, the places that the Most High took me to that I would never probably have went to if I would have stayed where I was at. So, I stopped focusing on the negatives and I started focusing more so on the highlight. And that helped boost my esteem to help me understand that, like you're saying, this was not.
All right, the time ran out on Yaki, but Toda for sharing. A lot of us came to this walk, this belief system, this way of life. We came to it like cold turkey. We stopped everything we were doing before and jumped right in, both feet. And it wasn't an easy process, right? Now, when you go from just being a believer and keeping the feast days and the commandments to actually taking on an active function for him, it's going to be the same thing. You jump with both feet, and it's going to be a process. You're going to go through some stuff. Now, I saw in your face that you were thinking about some stuff. I want you to share that. I want you to share. I want you to share with us some of the things that you went through when you decided that you were going to not just sit in the back, not just click on the computer unseen.
Well, yeah, I was happy just sitting in the audience, supporting my moray.
Yeah, exactly.
Hallelujah. Getting that education.
Hit the record button and chill.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one day it's like, hey, you got to teach a lesson. I'm like, hey, what? And I could have resisted, but I said, every aspect of my life, I've always said, whatever you say, I trust you. Uh-huh. And he, took it in. There are things that were changing in the household. My family had to adjust to the things. And that usually kicks up. And I could tell anybody. I said, once you got immersed, you're gonna see your life get hectic. You thought everything was going smooth, and then, I'm all excited about Yahuah, and then boom. So yeah, with learning to, you start to understand, and then, like you said, endurance. Even in the bad times. So I'll leave it there.
Now, I gave the Morim the opportunity to share how their lives turn hectic, but remember that your assignments, your tasks, your roles, your functions, there are many in the assembly. There are many outside the assembly. Anything that the Most High has for you to do, it may not be noticeable, right? You may not be in front of people every week or every month. People may not even know your name, but that doesn't mean that you don't have an assignment. And that doesn't mean that in that assignment, you won't still have to endure. All right. So I didn't want that to get misconstrued, that only if you get to a certain position will you face adversaries, right? Anytime that you say, yes, Father, the mission you have for me to do, I will do it. There will be trials, tribulations, but again, they're not attacking you. They're attacking that Ruach in you to get you to go off path so that you can be replaced, so that it can be delayed. Because if I'm supposed to be a Barakah to Yesharoon and I choose not to, he's going to get his Barakah, but now it's been delayed. And in the meantime, while he's waiting on it, who knows what he had to endure even more while he's waiting for that to come. Right? So if the adversary can get you to just hesitate, he's won. Right? So again, that's pretty much all that I had for this week. Any questions? Go ahead, Aki.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
So I just want to find out, what's the purpose of this title?
The overall lesson? Because we're coming into a new year, a new feast day cycles, and we want to be mindful and purposeful about making sure that we're in a better place when this cycle finishes than we were as the one we're closing out. Just want to make sure that we're intentional and mindful with the seeds that we're planting, because you only get the fruit if you plant the seeds. So what seeds are we planting? And this week's lesson was about seeds of walking in your calling. Start off your question. Any other questions? Sienna, what you got for us?
Thank you, because I know you really wanted to hear from me. I wanted to say a question and a comment in one. Isn't it safe to say that that the gifts come from DNA, meaning, again, it's the third and fourth generations of them that love me and keep my commandments. So it's things that's passed down through the generations, I think, because when I look at my family and how certain things, certain characteristics I have when it comes to this walk and what I give to the world to the best of my ability. I find that my grandmother had some of these traits, and you know that old adage, I had a praying grandma. I just can see how all of it has led me here. So in other words, maybe Abba didn't give it to them, but maybe he made sure that I was able to come in as a part of the movement, because it's kind of like an awakening, if you will. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
I got
that's
you.
it.
I got you. Your talents can definitely be traced through DNA. But there's things that he's going to have for us. Our assignments come directly from him separate. So you may have a grandmother that was a prayer, right? But that may not be what he wants you to do. He may not put you on the prayer team, right? Even though you may have a strong individual prayer life, the assignment he has for you, for the nation and for the group may be something totally different, even though you have a talent of prayer, things of that nature. So it's a combination of both. Go ahead. You got your hand back up. Go ahead. Okay, no problem. Anyone else have any questions before I send it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking with the mute on. I'm sorry. So no. And so my grandma, she would do Israelite things, but she was in the Christian church. And so when it comes to my gift, I definitely can say that flaws and all, I do draw people to me. Thank Abba for that. And people listen, because I'll get those little TikToks. Oh, Shan, you were right about this Hebrew word, you know, and you know, so again, maybe I had the light in me. Maybe my family, you know, they didn't necessarily know how to, like you said, they didn't know how to use it, or they didn't answer the calling. So I'm thinking, yes, I might have, I received the light. I won't say might have, I received the light. And it is based off of actions, regardless to what some people might think of you. When people really know you, they know, okay, this person is for real about this.
Right, absolutely. Total Rabah. Toda. Anyone else? All right, who's closing this out this week? Karash, you get to open and close. All right, let's prepare our hearts and minds for Sharat Karash to close us out. Hallelujah.
Baruch Ta Yahuah Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Father, we thank you for the message. We ask, Father, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach and the power of his blood, that you give all of us assignment. That speak to our hearts, minds, and souls, and give us the strength to do the assignments. O Most High Elohim, we thank you for the speaker. We thank you for the words that came from out of his mouth, and we know it, they was from you. We ask, Father, that this year, that each and every last one of us will have an assignment from you and be walking in it clearly and being great in it and making it prosper. We thank you, Father, for your word. We thank you for your blessings. We ask, Father, that you bless everyone that's in the assembly today. They'll have to drive back home. Let the Ruach be over them, protecting them as they go back home today. Let their home be as they left it. We ask, Father, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, that they have a blessed and proper dinner today. Let your Ruach be there with them as well. We just thank you, Father, for all the things you have done for us throughout this day. You have been awesome in all of our lives. There's nothing that you cannot do for us. And we just give you the praise, honor, and majesty for your loving kindness and tender mercies towards us. Continue to bless our mores, continue to bless the Sharaks and all the elders, Father, that they will step up on their lessons and their ground, that they may be what you want them to be. And we just give you praise. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, and we count all things done. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing before you. O Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Amen.